Hi, everybody. Great to have you with us on this Sunday, August 4th. Can you believe August is here already? Multnomah County officials have 4 weeks left to implement a plan to offer a deflection program to people caught with illegal drugs for personal use. Oregon voters approved the decriminalization of small amounts of drugs under Measure 110 in 2020. One result of that measure, the public use of drugs. Oregon lawmakers earlier this year partially repealed 110, and they passed House Bill 4002. Part of the bill, which makes possession of personal amounts of drugs a crime again, goes into effect on September 1st. Depending on the county, people possessing drugs can choose to deflect from the criminal justice system and instead enter a treatment program. Counties are allowed to come up with their own approach. In Multnomah County, there are questions about how the deflection program will work. There are also concerns about its leniency. Leaders held a news conference on Wednesday to assure you that Multnomah County will be ready on September 1st with the deflection program. Here's a portion of what was said.
When the drug possession laws change on September 1st, it is so important for us to be ready.
And in last week's news conference, Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega-Peterson talked about what they hope to accomplish.
We must offer people suffering from addiction alternatives to incarceration, or we will be right back where we started. Treatment is the best route to recovery. People's lives are depending on opening more treatment options, and we are moving swiftly to do so. There has been criticism about not having a plan, but we are building a deflection system that includes mobile outreach, leverages peer support, and finally creates a drop-off center for law enforcement. Keeping people who need care out of jail will make our community stronger and safer.
Law enforcement will play a big role in the deflection program. Here's what Portland Police Chief Bob Day had to say.
We will be addressing open drug use on the street, and we've been doing that under 110, and we're now going to be doing that under 4002. And under 4002, we'll be taking people in custody, and we'll be taking them to the deflection center. If they're not eligible for deflection, then we'll be taking them to jail. What does successful deflection look like? And we agree that, for starters, an individual has successfully engaged in deflection if they have completed all of the following: a screening, received a service referral, and engaged with referred service as recommended by the screening within 30 days. We believe that that 30-day window gives them ample opportunity to try and take some responsibility for themselves, as well as we understand the complicated network that they may be trying to navigate. We want to make sure that that happens within those 30 days.
And from Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt.
And come September 1st, I think we're taking a step in the right direction in addressing those concerns. We all recognize that addiction and recovery is not a one transaction exchange. Because of the nature, it will require multiple attempts at treatment. That's why, if deflection fails, conditional discharge is built into the criminal prosecution process in House Bill 4002. We want to allow multiple opportunities to get people connected with treatment while still maintaining accountability. The bottom line is law enforcement needs tools to stop behavior that harms the community, and the goal needs to be to connect people with treatment, not incarceration. And I think this program works towards those goals.
Multnomah County is working with a provider out of Baltimore called Turk House, Inc. It's a substance use treatment facility that has a record of nearly 50 years of experience. Turk House CEO Bernard Gaby Foster took part in the news conference with county leaders.
We are hoping that come September 1, we'll be able to open the deflection center and welcome patients who are in dire straits and are in need of services. Once again, we just want to thank everyone involved, and we hope to continue collaborating as we move forward.
With me now is Katu reporter Christina Giardinelli, who was at Wednesday's news conference with county leaders. She's also been following how the counties are preparing for deflection programs. Thanks for being here, Christina. What'd you learn in your research?
Yeah, so I got records for 28 counties that they sent for their applications for these deflection programs to this state. And what I found in looking at these applications is Multnomah's is the most lenient statewide. So it's the only county that has both unlimited attempts at deflection, so avoiding charges by seeking treatment, and then also doesn't charge anybody if they fail to essentially complete that deflection. So the only way someone here in Multnomah County is going to get charged is if they get caught with drugs twice in a 30-day period.
What are some of the other counties doing to address this addiction crisis?
Yeah, so most of the other counties, all but two actually, Multnomah County and Josephine County, are holding charges in abeyance. Now what that means is they're going to pause charges and give people a chance to go through those deflection steps, those treatment steps. If they don't, complete that, they're going to see charges. Those charges will get forwarded to the DA, and a warrant will be issued for their arrest. You
mentioned DA Multnomah County will have a new district attorney next year. You spoke with Nathan Vasquez earlier. What is he saying about the deflection program as it stands right now?
Steve, you've seen his campaign, right? He's always presented this as being, he's going to be more tough on crime. So obviously he's not happy with Multnomah County, like I said, being one of the more lenient programs here. And he's vowed to change that once he takes office in January. But it's going to be interesting to see how he does that, because these applications are approved by the state, and the state does have to go back and review any changes.
A lot of folks are just curious about the deflection program as a whole. How many hours will it actually be open?
Yeah, so that deflection center, right, that drop-off center that's going to be here nearby, the county has said that it's going to be operational by September 1st, but they don't know yet what the hours are going to be. They're still working with a nonprofit to figure that out, and it doesn't really sound like it's going to be 24/7 by September 1st, but they say that's the ultimate goal.
You learned something interesting last week about the arrest process for the people that police catch with small amounts of drugs on them. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I talked to Portland Police Chief Bob Day. Basically because the Portland Police Association, so their union, did have some concerns about the transport, so officers taking people to this deflection center once they get arrested. The officer, once the person catches a person with drugs, they give them the option. Do you want to go to the deflection center, or do you want to face this misdemeanor drug possession charge, which could mean jail time? So if the person then decides to go to the deflection center, the officer is responsible for taking them there. And the concern was, what happens during that transportation, because the officer is not issuing a citation according to how they've structured this program. The concern is, what if the person overdoses while they're in that patrol vehicle? So I asked the chief some of these questions. What legal authority does the officer have to take the person since they're not issuing a citation? His response was interesting. He says basically they're going to be arresting the person, putting them in handcuffs, taking them in the car, taking them to this deflection center, and then he said these actual words, unarresting the person and letting them go to the deflection center. Pretty unique, right? Someone gets a DUI, oftentimes they will get released, but they're going to have a citation. In this case, they're not.
I understand county leaders will be reviewing the data every 30 days. Does that mean there will be constant changes to this deflection program?
They'll be reviewing it to see, what's working, what's not working. But like I mentioned earlier, the state does review these applications. They're going to give, each county funding for the deflection program. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not some of these changes will actually go through. They do have to get approved by the state.
Christina, thanks for being with us. You got a lot of stuff to go through there.
Yes. Thanks,
Appreciate
Steve.
your time.